Yamashiro was the second of two Fuso-class dreadnought battleships built for the Imperial Japanese Navy. Launched in 1915 and commissioned in 1917, she initially patrolled off the coast of China, playing no part in World War I. In 1923, she assisted survivors of the Great Kanto earthquake. Yamashiro was modernized between 1930 and 1935, with improvements to her armor and machinery and a rebuilt superstructure in the pagoda mast style. Nevertheless, with only 14-inch guns, she was outclassed by other Japanese battleships at the beginning of World War II, and played auxiliary roles for most of the war. By 1944, though, she was forced into frontline duty, serving as the flagship of Vice Admiral Shoji Nishimura's Southern Force at the Battle of Surigao Strait, the southernmost action of the Battle of Leyte Gulf. During fierce night fighting in the early hours of the 25th of October against a superior American force, Yamashiro was sunk by torpedoes and naval gunfire. Nishimura went down with his ship, and only 10 crew members survived. Description: the ship had a length of 192.024 meters between perpendiculars and 202.7 meters overall. She had a beam of 28.7 meters and a draft of 8.7 meters. Yamashiro displaced 29,326 long tons at standard load and 35,900 long tons at full load. Her crew consisted of 1,198 officers and enlisted men in 1915 and about 1,400 in 1935. During the ship's modernization during 1930–35, her forward superstructure was enlarged with multiple platforms added to her tripod foremast. Her rear superstructure was rebuilt to accommodate mounts for 127mm anti-aircraft guns and additional fire control directors. Yamashiro was also given torpedo bulges to improve her underwater protection and to compensate for the weight of the additional armor. In addition, her stern was lengthened by 7.62 meters. These changes increased her overall length to 212.75 meters, her beam to 33.1 meters and her draft to 9.69 meters. Her displacement increased nearly 4,000 long tons to 39,154 long tons at deep load. Propulsion: the ship had two sets of Brown Curtis direct drive steam turbines, each of which drove two propeller shafts. The turbines were designed to produce a total of 40,000 shaft horsepower, using steam provided by 24 Miyahara-type water tube boilers, each of which consumed a mixture of coal and oil. Yamashiro had a stowage capacity of 4,000 long tons of coal and 1,000 long tons of fuel oil, giving her a range of 8,000 nautical miles at a speed of 14 knots. The ship exceeded her designed speed of 22.5 knots during her sea trials, reaching 23.3 knots at 47,730 shp. During her modernization, the Miyahara boilers were replaced by 6 new Kanpon oil-fired boilers fitted in the former aft boiler room, and the forward funnel was removed. The Brown Curtis turbines were replaced by 4-geared Kanpon turbines with a designed output of 75,000 shp. On her trials, Yamashiro's sister ship Fuso reached a top speed of 24.7 knots from 76,889 shp. The fuel storage of the ship was increased to a total of 5,100 long tons of fuel oil that gave her a range of 11,800 nautical miles at a speed of 16 knots. Armament: the 12.45 caliber 14-inch guns of Yamashiro were mounted in 6 twin-gun turrets, numbered 1 through 6 from front to rear, each with an elevation range of -5 to +30 degrees. The turrets were arranged in an unorthodox 2-1-1-2 style with superfiring pairs of turrets fore and aft. The middle turrets were not superfiring, and had a funnel between them. The main guns and their turrets were modernized during the ship's 1930 reconstruction. The maximum elevation of the main guns was increased to plus 43 degrees, increasing their maximum range from 25,420 to 32,420 meters. Initially, the guns could fire at a rate of 1.5 rounds per minute, and this was also improved during her first modernization. Originally, Yamashiro was fitted with a secondary armament of 1650 caliber 6-inch guns mounted in casemates on the upper sides of the hull. Each gun could fire a high explosive projectile to a maximum range of 22,970 yards at up to 6 shots per minute. She was later fitted with 6 high-angle 40 caliber 3-inch AA guns in single mounts on both sides of the forward superstructure and both sides of the second funnel, as well as on both sides of the aft superstructure. These guns had a maximum elevation of plus 75 degrees, and could fire a 5.99 kilogram shell at a rate of 13 to 20 rounds per minute to a maximum height of 7,200 meters. The ship was also fitted with 6 submerged 533mm torpedo tubes, 3 on each broadside. During Yamashiro's modernization in the early 1930s, all 6 3-inch guns were removed and replaced with 8 40 caliber 127mm dual-purpose guns, fitted on both sides of the fore and aft superstructures in 4 twin gun mounts. When firing at surface targets, the guns had a range of 14,700 meters. They had a maximum ceiling of 9,440 meters at their maximum elevation of plus 90 degrees. Their maximum rate of fire was 14 rounds a minute, but their sustained rate of fire was around 8 rounds per minute. The improvements made during the reconstruction increased Yamashiro's draft by 1 meter. The 2 foremost 6-inch guns were removed, as the same guns on her sister ship Fuso had gotten soaked in high seas after that ship's reconstruction. The ship's light AA armament was augmented by 8 25mm Type 96 light AA guns in twin gun mounts. 4 of these mounts were fitted on the forward superstructure, 1 on each side of the funnel and 2 on the rear superstructure. This was the standard Japanese light AA gun during World War II, but it suffered from severe design shortcomings that rendered it a largely ineffective weapon. According to historian Mark Stiller, the twin and triple mounts lacked sufficient speed in train or elevation, the gun sights were unable to handle fast targets, the gun exhibited excessive vibration, the magazine was too small, and, finally, the gun produced excessive muzzle blast. The configuration of the AA guns varied significantly over time. In 1943, 17 single and 2 twin mounts were added for a total of 37. In July 1944, the ship was fitted with another 24 single, 9 twin and 8 triple mounts, for a total of 92 anti-aircraft guns in her final configuration. The 25mm gun had an effective range of 1,500–3,000 meters, and an effective ceiling of 5,500 meters at an elevation of 85 degrees. Also in July 1944, the ship was provided with 3 twin-gun and 10 single mounts for the license-built 13.2mm Hotchkiss machine gun. The maximum range of these guns was 6,500 meters, but the effective range against aircraft was only 1,000 meters. The cyclic rate was adjustable between 425 and 475 rounds per minute, but the need to change 30-round magazines reduced the effective rate to 250 rounds per minute. Armor: the ship's waterline armor belt was 229 to 305 mm thick. Below it was a strake of 102 mm armor. The deck armor ranged in thickness from 32 to 51 mm. The turrets were protected with an armor thickness of 279.4 mm on the face, 228.6 mm on the sides, and 114.5 mm on the roof. The barbets of the turrets were protected by armor 305 mm thick, while the casemates of the 152 mm guns were protected by 152 mm armor plates. The sides of the conning tower were 351 mm thick. Additionally, the vessel contained 737 watertight compartments to preserve buoyancy in the event of battle damage. During her first reconstruction, Yamashiro's armor was substantially upgraded. The deck armor was increased to a maximum thickness of 114 mm. A longitudinal bulkhead of 76 mm of high-tensile steel was added to improve the underwater protection. Aircraft Yamashiro was briefly fitted with an aircraft flying-off platform on turret No. 2 in 1922. She successfully launched Gloucester Sparrowhawk and Sopwith Camel fighters from it, the first Japanese ship to do so. During her modernization in the 1930s, a catapult and a collapsible crane were fitted on the stern, and the ship was equipped to operate 3 float planes, although no hangar was provided. The initial Nakajima E4N2 biplanes were replaced by Nakajima E8N2 biplanes in 1938 and then by Mitsubishi F1M biplanes from 1942 on. Fire control and sensors. The ship was originally fitted with two 3.5-METER and two 1.5-METER rangefinders in her forward superstructure. A 4.5-METER rangefinder on the roof of turret No. 2, and 4.5-METER rangefinders in turrets 3, 4, and 5. While in dry dock in July 1943, a Type 21 air search radar was installed on the roof of the 10-meter rangefinder at the top of the pagoda mast. In August 1944, 2 Type 22 surface search radar units were installed on the pagoda mast and 2 Type 13 early warning radar units were fitted on her main mast.